Hey, we're live, I think so. Yep. Okay, cool. Welcome back to Hello Drunk World with your dyslexic developer. It's been a while since I've been on the stream, but I just test the audio was working on my mic. No, it should be, yeah, it's okay. So it's been a while. I'm in that lull period between Christmas and New Year's, so I thought I'd dust off the camera and put a little stream and see how this goes. So still getting my lighting and everything set up, get a little bit red faced, but sure, it's all good, it's all good. Just keeping an eye on the chat over here. So first things first, we're going to start off with the wine. I went a little bit fancy this time, got a box of wine delivered. So we have something that I cannot pronounce the name of at its court, so it has to be nice. We'll get this in. If you're on the chat, don't forget to say hello. Once we get through this, we'll get our wine ASMR on the go. I forgot to cut the paper off, but we'll survive. And this is a bottle of red, as per usual. Woohoo! As per my normal instructions, it's been chilled because red wine doesn't always have to be drank at room temperature, even though room temperature isn't what people think it is. So get all the bits of metal off the edges so we can get a clean pour. If this is like crap, I've got a beer as a backup. That should do this. Right, this keep going. Everyone. So this is my first stream in a while, so the settings and lighting may be a little bit off and it makes me look like I'm a red maniac. But I think we could tweak this. Get that just being purple. I think we're okay with that. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Get my wash light. I've also burnt out a couple of LEDs in the back. I'm not sure how they burnt out because they never come on. So let's jump straight into it. So right, set things up first. Okay, so should we see my screen? It's like I'm in a Zoom meeting, but I'm not. So I was kind of thinking about this last few days. I mean, bookmarking those of different tools and utilities, and thinking about what can I test out or learn. And what kind of came to light, or came to mind at least anyway, was like I love using the REPL, and I kind of wanted to see like could I build something of my own that matches this using some like new tools that have appeared in the market. So I'm gonna ceremonious wine drink. So I'm pretty sure there is a tool out there that builds these REPLs, but recently there's this tool that got open source called Sandpack. So Sandpack is what powers Code Sandbox under the hood. It kind of got me thinking, right, could I use this to build my own REPL? It's probably the roundabout face way of doing it, but it gives me a chance to learn about how Sandpack works. And on top of that, I wanted to try out Vite, I want to say. Yeah, Vite. I wanted to try it Vite instead of what I always do is always use Code Sandbox. I always use Create React App to like bootstrap a project. I wanted to see like could I use Vite instead. and get a project up and running with that. So we're going to kick things off first by creating a new project with Vite. I'm going to go for npm because that's my preferred package manager. Well, it's not really a package manager, it's more of a CLI tool. So we're going to run this, and we need to give it a name. So we're going to call this, I'm going to call it SB, and we want it REPL, so stream-REPL. And I want to use React because I know Sandpack has a bunch of React components. So we're going to bootstrap with it. We're going to just go plain React. I'm not trying to learn TypeScript while we do this. So we're going to go stream REPL npm install. That's going to take a few seconds. And really, like I say, we're using Vite for this. We're using it the bare bones. We're not digging into any of this other stuff. But I think we're going to take advantage of what it does and how we can use it. So then after we do that, we can do npm run dev. And then that's going to start up a site on localhost 3000. So we get a very basic boilerplate application. When we click this, our counter increments. So we'll kill this, and then we're going to open up VS Code. We'll pop VS Code over here, and we'll look at the source. So there's a lot of stuff going on here that I don't really care about or don't really want. So I'm going to be going through and deleting a lot of stuff. So let's look at our main. So our main pulls in React DOM. We get strike mode. That's okay. So actually, this renders our app. So let's go into the app. What's the app doing? It's doing a lot of stuff that I don't really want right now. So I'm gonna delete most of this. And we're gonna say REPL here. And if you see a bunch of random comments up here, and I've got GitHub Copilot running, and I'm like in the process of like testing it out, seeing the viability of Copilot. I think it's quite powerful for the case of like, well, that was a terrible example of how Copilot tried to predict what I was doing. We don't need this logo. I don't really want to use the app CSS either. I'm going to just use the one CSS file. So we can get rid of app CSS. I guess we could keep the favicon. That could get confusing because I have two the same, but we'll stick with that. We have our index CSS, which I'm probably going to use for everything. We don't need the logo. That's just the React logo. So now we're looking a little bit cleaner. Let's go into our index, and we're going to call this REPL. Call it drunk REPL because it's a little drunk. We're all drunk. The dyslexic developer who can't speak. So we've got that in place. So now we have a terminal built into here, so I could probably use this. Clear that. npm run dev. So now this is all updated. Now we lost some background colors. Oosh. We can fill them back in. So let's give it a nice background color. We don't need this code fragment either. We'll say background color, and then I'll set it to black, but we're not actually going to use black. We're going to go for like a dark gray, so we can click into the color picker without trying to close it every time. Oh, I just hovered. So we'll go for almost like a Mac OS gray. Yeah, and then our color, what is it predicted? Our color is going to be white. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. And then maybe say some padding 10 pixels all around, just to bring it in a little bit. Just keeping an eye on the chat over here. So that's like our bare bone. Like this is doing nothing as of yet. So if we go to our main renders app. Our app has our REPL. So if we're gonna copy our REPL from here, we need to have, we don't need this top bar, that's unnecessary, but we need 2 panels. So we're gonna say div and div. So this can be code here, output here. So save this. Okay, that's looking all right. So we have this class name app. Let me make that lowercase app. And if we go back to our index, we can say dot app. We're gonna say display flex. So they're put together. Now there's a way to make these equal parts. So I think I'll do app div. So they're both like that. Let's say border. So yeah, we're gonna put some borders in so we can actually see the layout as we're building this out. We want to make this height 100 VH, so that goes to the bottom page. There's a little bit of a scroll, make that 90, 99. Yeah, okay, 99. Anyone who knows CSS, yeah, you're probably tearing your hair out. I don't know CSS, so it's okay. And then we'll give this some padding to, we'll just do 5 pixels, just a little bit in. Okay, that's sweet. And okay, so one thing I'm noticing about Vite is like how fast that module hot reloading is going on. Like it's super fast and I'm making changes. Like if I push this to 50, we're instantly seeing that change, which is really cool. And we're not doing much else from that. So actually I'm gonna bring our terminal down. The up makes it go up, the down makes it go down. If I go like that, okay, it's hidden, but it's still running. So we've got our 2 panels. Those borders are never not going to be the end borders, but at least we have our borders in place. So our code's here. That's going to be our Sandpack component. Our output's going to be here. So our output is going to be a list of log lines. As you're writing console logs in your Sandpack, it's going to print out the console logs in our output section. So this state is actually now going to be called log lines, and we can copy this, and it's going to be set log lines with a capital L, and the initial state is going to be empty. And in our output, it's going to be loglines.map. Not that necessarily. We're going to say unordered list and do that. So we don't have any log lines at the moment, but we were able to check all that out. So if I say test 2, test 3, so now we can see what our like console output's going to be. So let's add a little bit of style into this. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be our only UL, but I think we need to do a class name on it anyway. We'll call this log lines. Yeah. So let's go back to our style then. And it's going to be log lines. And it's going to be list style none. We could probably do line spacing as well. Do we do line spacing or do we pad out each of the LIs? I think we pad out the LIs. So we do log lines, LI, padding, and then it's going to be say 5 pixels top, 0 pixels left, 5 pixels bottom, 0 top. Okay, so now we've kind of got that brought out. We could also maybe add a little dividing line in between them, but I need to be curious how we do that. I also think 5 is maybe, should be 10 pixels. Yeah, so that's our different log lines. I wonder if I do border bottom. So let's get rid of the padding and let's make this margin. Does that make a difference? Yeah, because we're brought in by that. So if in doubt, let's DevTools it out. So we grab our DevTools, we can see, so our log lines has, okay, so yeah, our list has margin. So we're going to say margin is non-valid, or is it 0? Okay, so something's still padding this out. I know we've got our dev, we've got our margin 0 for one of these, margin block start. There must be like an override, we just get rid of those. Oh, padding, that's what it is. Padding 0. Okay, so that's a little bit cleaner. Now let's look at our individual ones. So this can be padding instead of margin. Okay, this is now looking a little bit better. I don't like the gap that we have, but I think that's because our div has padding. Yeah, so we're going to remove the padding from our div. I'm going to refresh this to make sure it's centering, and then we're going to say add padding 5 pixels to, well, that's the right, that's 0. Okay, counting the clock, top, right, bottom, left. That could be 10. Okay, cool. So that's going to be our lines. I might actually make this the opacity, let's bring it down a bit. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. I'm terrible at design in CSS, so don't shoot the messenger. And I guess if we're using that same color border there, we can use this up here as well. Okay, so now we've got it printing out what our log lines are, but they're just fake log lines that we added in. We're not actually setting them, so we need to set them somehow. So let's do that by hopping into Sandpack. So Sandpack is what runs Code Sandbox under the hood. So if I do Code Sandbox and I can start coding for free, create a new sandbox, and then say I'm going to go vanilla because I just want raw JavaScript. So we get this environment like this. So we want something like this, but we want to like pull out our console logs. So from here we can jump into some like very, very basic examples of what we're looking to do. So let's say install. So first we need to npm install this. So we'll run this. We'll let this go play away. Hopefully it's not huge and doesn't strain my internet. So while that's going, okay, so that's finished. So we've added that. Let's jump back to VS Code because we're going to start using this. Now there's a very basic example we just call Sandpack. But we want to customize a lot of this for ourselves. So I want to see a little bit more of a convoluted example. So I don't want the preview window, I just want the actual code editor that runs. So let's keep looking through some of the examples. Custom UI. Well, actually, first thing we need to grab the CSS. And we can add that into our main. Push that up there because that's where we keep our dependencies. So you can see we're allowed to export different things from here. Show tabs. So I think I'm looking for, yeah, I'm getting deeper. I want to like pull out the different, yeah, so we need to have a little bit more convoluted to kind of play about what it gives us. I don't want to just use the out of the box solution. So we need our Sandpack provider. So I can say import from import. So we get a provider and then we wrap our application. Let's fix our styling. Okay, so now we have everything wrapped in the provider. So in our app, we'll copy this import. So in our app, we need a few different things to build out what we actually want. So we can pull this in even though we're not using it, and let's go into the React, and it's going to be components that we're looking for. So we have our code editor, code viewer, file tabs, or navigator. So we know kind of what we can and can't get. So for this example, what we need is to pull in the sandbox layout. So Sandpack layout, and we also want the Sandpack code editor because we want to show the editor. Now we're pulling in the preview, but we're only pulling in the preview so that it runs the code every time. So we can say Sandpack, Sandpack console. What does our console do? Is that actually even as a thing? Yeah, that was just VS Code or Copilot trying to be smart, but there's no such thing. So we've got our code editor. We also need our preview. So Sandpack preview. Nope. Sandpack preview. And then we can start building out what we need. So we're going to say Sandpack layout. And then inside there, we're going to do the code editor. Now it doesn't take children. And our preview, the same, doesn't take children. So we save this. What do we get? Okay, so we've got a bit of progress. Like that was quite quick to get where we got. So I want this. Don't want the tabs, and I don't want the preview. So we're going to do a little bit of hackery to this. So in our editor, it has different props. So if we go into the TypeScript definition for our editor, we can see what props it takes. So show tabs, we want this to be false. And we're going to turn off line numbers. And we'll keep line numbers because it's nice to look at them. We don't want to show the run button. Or do we? Yeah, no we do. I don't need to think about that in the near future. So we can show. We copy and paste the show run button. So we're making that true. We don't need to pass props if it's going to be true already, so we can just do it this way. So what does this do with our IDE so far? Give it a refresh. Nothing yet. So we got rid of the tabs. So now we need to get rid of this. So the quick and dirtiest way to do this is just to actually hide the element. So we can expected. It's inside of an iframe. It's this. It's stack display flex. So if we do display none here, we still get that. So we need to get the stack. Now there's no unique class in this, so I'm going to just copy the selector, go back to our CSS, paste the selector. Now there's a lot of stuff here, so I think we can say SP layout second child. Display none. That didn't really do what I wanted it to do. It's because they're inline in the style. So I have to use important to override it. So we can use important to override CSS styles. So now we have our full width IDE. Now we can theme this. I'm kind of looking at the theming site. So we can export this out. Now where do we pass this into? So let's look at our custom UI. Is there a theming going on? Okay, so Sandpack theme, we were looking at Mono Kai. That's what it is. Yeah, Mono Kai Pro. So can we pass this in somewhere? I think it's going to be at the provider level. Let's save that. It didn't really do anything. Although, did it say it's dark mode? So, that didn't apply. Let's look at our definition. Is there a theme in here? So we can look through all of the props that gets passed to it. It also extends the provider props, which has a template, blah, 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 blah. But it also has provider state. Which I can't see. So it takes a template, which is a predefined template. That's more of a code side of things. So we want predefined theme. So what takes in the predefined theme? So let's go back, and let's jump into the props for our layout, which takes theme. Okay, so our theme comes out of here, and we go into our app. Okay, that looks a lot better. So now we've kind of themed it, make it a little bit better. But painfully, like it only goes down to here. So can we make this full height like the rest of our app? So it's height 100%, so it's not that. Overflows auto, it's got a height which is a CSS variable. So we'll grab this, but if I do 100%. You would have thought that would have. Is that gonna take it overflow hidden? Has it got a height property on it as well? I guess like the smart thing is like they're like, yeah, let's make it extensible and usable, but we also want to like be able to change things and play about with the height and stuff. So we're looking at SPL, SP stack. I think we want to make that. Let's see, let's copy selector, and let's jump into our CSS file. Why is it not giving me the class names? What am I copying? I'm copying the wrong thing. So I want the layout. And then I want the stack. I want to say height is 100%, and then probably have to do important because of inline style stuff. That didn't really change much, did it? So this has got a computed height somewhere. Where is it getting its height from? Can we pass that through as a prop? Let's see. If you're watching along, you know how to override the height of something that's very, 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 very complex. Let me know in the chat. So this has got a height of 100% important. So what if I do height 100%? But the height grows as we type. So I need to actually make this background color the same as this background color. That probably could do it for us. Let's see, computed. Let's get our background color. It'll be in our theme builder, I assume. Active background, default background. Let's say this. Go into here, inspect like our actual div, and oh, I copied the entire thing. I just want it. Come on, you piece of shit. Right, it's gonna be 444-344. And it's gonna be hash 444-344. We're close, we're close, we're close. Is it gonna be, we'll copy this, create a new file, try this instead. Okay, so we can do that. We can kind of masquerade that our first div is going to have that as a background color. So we need to do this in our app. So we're doing app. How did it know I was thinking about that? Oh, I don't want to save that JSON file. I'll get rid of it. Don't save. Right. Refresh. Kept that. Now this little border we can try and get rid of. So border. Okay, that didn't work. So it's obviously not got the border on this. It's got the border on this. Border none. So that is on SP layout. We'll do border none. Save that. Okay, so now we're getting a little bit better at where we're thinking. So we have our ID on one side, our logs on the other side. So I do console.log test. No, that's not logging this out. I'd expect my logs to be printed out on this side. So I'm going to dig into that side of things. So we'll jump back to our app. Now the handy thing, oh, that wine is tart. The handy thing about Sandpack is it gives us some React hooks, so we can actually dig in and start like using things that it gives us. So we can pull out some hooks. So the first is going to be use Sandpack, and if we grab this, we can say const listen use sandbox. So what we can do is we can listen to events from use sandbox, and then we want to grab a use effect from React. We want to log out every time we get a message. So we can say use effect, and we want to change it every time listen happens. So in here, I don't think that's how we listen to it. Yeah, because listen gives us back a function, so we're going to ignore that. Say const stop. Actually, we'll look at the box. So we search for use Sandpack. Okay, so use Sandpack gives us our Sandpack. Also gives us other things, or it should do. Yeah, it gives us our listen function. Yes, here's an example with the listen. So we can grab every message that comes out of the Sandpack instance. So this is what we want to do. We want to listen anytime there's a message being triggered, and this is where we can grab our console logs from. So we say const stop listening, and that's going to be listen, get our data. Initially we don't want to set the log lines, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to say msg console.log msg, and then whenever we unmount, we want to stop listening. So we return our function like so. Save this, and then we look at our console.log. Okay, so we can see we've got like our start message. I'll bump this up. We get our start message, we get status messages, we get success, status done, test. Now what happens if I have a console.log in here? So we can see one of these comes up with the console, and in the log it has an array, and the data has the data that was actually logged out from that log line. So we can grab each console log and then use that in our application. Now this is a very roundabout way, but when I was looking at this initially, there was no way in Sandpack to get just the console from the Sandpack instance. It was always just a preview that shows you what the code actually resulted in. So let's use this knowledge to say, now we want to grab this and do something with it. So I'm going to say if, okay, so we want this inside of our listen method. So get rid of this. So we're going to say if, it's not message.type, it was log, but we'll so yeah, if the type equals console, then yeah, we update, and it's not going to be display, it's going to be message dot, well, if it's an array, it can potentially have multiple. So I'm going to say, spread this in, I'm going to say message dot log dot map, and it's going to be log.data. Which will that work? So set log line is going to be that. We're going to default this to an empty array. Okay, this works. But we can see it keeps on appending them and appending them and appending them. I don't really want, well, every time it reruns, I want it to be running fresh again, because then you're kind of like a history of all your code building up. But we're getting somewhere. So, what other messages did we have? So it went status, success, state done, and then the console. So I think if we can say if message type equals done, then set log lines to be empty array. So and if I change that to be 5, yeah, so it's not adding on and on and on. Okay, so we've kind of gotten quite far, I think. So we've got that line out. Yeah, okay, that's cool, that's cool. So other thing that I need to do is, at the minute, every time we refresh this page, it's got this default code in. I don't want this default code. I want my own code to appear in there. So again, we can turn to another hook that is provided. So we can grab that wine is not great. Or very strong, I'm not sure. So there's another hook. There is the use active code hook. And if we grab this, we can say const update code use active code. So we can update our code, and we want to do this on our initial render. So we can again use an effect. And we want this to happen only once at the beginning. So we'll do this, and then we can say use active code. Oh, not use active code. Update code. And this will take a template literal in. So I wonder, we'll say add some code here. Oh, I can't type. Okay, that's fine. So maybe can we add in those new lines? That's going to take a new line. So we'll say the log hello drunk world. So it logs out our first log line. I know we've got a lot of shit logging out here, but I want to see more of what our messages gives us. Let's save that. Refresh. So we go through here, we get our console. What else do we get on this? Gives us an ID, gives us our method that was log, gives us our data, log, type console. Okay, that's fine. What if we provide okay, that's weird. So what if I provide in another console.log and it's test plus test 5. Yeah, okay, that's grand. So we can pass through complex items and they still get logged out. We'll go back to our Hello Junk World. So now we set our initial code. What else can we do here? So we go back to our REPL. We have our input side, our output side. I like this clear. I want to be able to rerun the code. Maybe I have a reset too. Oh, because we have our functions. So I'm going to stick a couple of buttons along this top side. So will we create a new component? For cleanliness, if not, actually we'll just create them here. So create a div, and we'll say button clear rerun what was the other one we liked? Reset. So we'll clear, rerun, and reset code. Buttons look like dog shit, but I'm sure we could get some theme and library to clean them up for us. I know they have the impact on our first line, but I don't mind that too much. So let's clean up the actual code and style, because that's what I care about. Click here, here, and here. Let's get code's looking a little bit better. So we actually need a, say, call this clear log. Rerun code. So a bit more clear. So we need to actually tie these into specific actions. So clear log is going to be easy because we can say on click. Oh, you know, sometimes Copilot really works well. Like that was effortless. If I copy this. I click clear log, they're all gone. I guess what I could actually do here is say log lines dot length greater than 0. No, greater than 0. No console box yet. Where have we gone wrong? Where have we gone wrong? That should be question mark. Will I clear this? And that's fix our indentation. Twine's getting better as we go. So, what do we need to do next here? So we need to do our rerun button and our reset code button. Again, thankfully, Sandpack, keep calling it Sandbox. Sandpack gives us another hook. So we can do a constant use Sandpack navigation. That allows us to kind of navigate the code that we're writing. We'll just say navigate, but it's actually not that. It's going to be refresh. And we can find all these things by one, if we go into the export here and we look in at hooks, we can see each of the hooks. So like we were using the use active code hook that takes an update and a code string, so we can actually grab what the code is out as a string. I'd love to actually see what that is on every re-render. So what does our code look like? Code, and we're going to say log code. Yeah, it's just a string representation of code. So I was going to give us maybe like an AST or something like that. So yeah, so we get a refresh. If we go into our use Sandpack navigation, because there's refresh, because it's back and forward, and that's more if you're navigating through the browser-ish like preview window, which we're not working on. So simply we can then go to our rerun button and we can say on click, refresh, bingo bango. So the reason for this is just like for sanity, that it actually is working as you expect it to work. So if I do const foo equals bar and then console.log, we'll do a template string. We'll say my name is foo. Okay, so this is perfect. We're halfway through the development, so I click rerun. It doesn't do everything. Why? Do I have to rebuild it maybe? So yeah, if I clear the logs and then click rerun, I get them back. Yeah, so that's the use case. So const state equals drunk and console.log our template string. I am so, and grab our template, it's literal state. I am so drunk. If I clear the logs, click rerun. Come on, rerun. The state must get out of sync. So let's try that again. Drunk. Log. Let's try state. So clear the log, rerun. Yeah, so it appears. Let's make this template literal. Okay, so I am so. Why did you put that full stop in there for me? And clear the log, rerun. Yeah, okay, so it's just been a little bit slow. So we have a refresh, and then we need our reset code, which we can do because we can update our code. So in here, I could say new line on click update code. Oh god, it's so good. That's backtick and close the function, and I click reset code. It goes back the way it should have been. So now we've kind of fuck shit. Like first stream back, I've actually covered all the shit in an hour. I'm just checking my notes to see anything else I missed right here. I think I actually did this a lot more smoother than I thought I was going to do. So we now have our REPL. So let's see if we can deploy this. If we get rid of the dev tools, like it doesn't look great. It looks a little bit like dog shit. Will we get syntax errors? We're not going to get autocomplete. I don't think so. So let's see if we can get this to deploy to Netlify. So I'm going to jump up here while I make sure I'm logged into everything. So I'm going to log into GitHub and let's create a new repository. And we're going to call this Sandpack, I guess. Sandpack is available, obviously, because it's on my own. Okay, create the repository, and then we're going to add our own remote. So I'm doing all this off on the side because there's going to be passwords being typed in and all that fun and jazz. So now we get REPL, so we do git init. So okay, cool, good. All I'm doing is commit the git. I guess I could actually jump back to this, you can see it. So yeah. Added all the stuff to Git, clear this out, and then we're gonna add a remote, push our main, and or actually we'll create our main, whatever, upload our main, push origin main. So clear this out. Refresh this repo. I don't even know what the readme looks like on this. Yeah, nothing. That's per usual. Right, let's go to Netlify and see if we can push this online. Is it logging my GitHub? I'm already logging my GitHub. Hopefully I don't have the 2FA. Cool. Let's import from GitHub. Oh, the wine is sharp as fuck. And we're gonna say sand. Come on. Sandbox get up test. I don't know what the fuck that is. We're gonna go for the main, npm run build. Is that one of our scripts? Yeah, build. Does our fit build. Gonna deploy our site. Starting up. Okay, so it's going to pull it in, clone it. It's still on our npm deps. Fingers crossed, all goes fine. I know Create React app can have problems when it gets to this stage, and you have to like change what the build function is. Okay, that built successfully. Okay, go back to deploys. Hardcore, material, bunch of numbers. So I'm wondering, can I make this a subdomain of my current site? So I could do like dev.dyslexicdeveloper.com. So domain settings, if I do add custom domain, right? So it's going to be the dyslexicdeveloper.com. That didn't copy and paste enough. Oh, why won't you let me? I'm copying. I can't paste. Am I going fucking mental here? So, okay, so I want to do dev dot dyslexicdeveloper.com. Yeah, try adding in mine. Does that work? Yeah. Oh shit, that did. Okay, so now I have my own REPL that I can use anytime I want by just going dev.thedyslexidedeveloper.com, and I can like try typing things in there. So, oh shit, I wonder if it exists. There is the MDM set, MDM structure clone. Does it have structure clone? So I can go in. Really should have updated the thing there. Console.log. Try. Oh shit. Okay. Something went wrong there. Okay, I might not have all the syntax, but I'm pretty sure I could change that in the parcel config. I wonder too, what is the network calls we made on this? So if I do all, yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, I thought this myself, it calls out to code sandbox. I thought so. Yeah, Sandpack, code sandbox. What the fuck is going on there when I can't log out the window? Or maybe it probably runs into, yeah, I didn't account for all this shit. But sure, who would be doing that? Yeah, there we have it. How to create your own REPL that has limited capabilities, but at least you can, like, you know, play about with different things and test out different methodologies. A lot of updates and changes potentially to be done on this, but yeah, there we go. Very glad to be back, dusting off the camera, getting things out, drinking more questionable quality wine. I'll hope to be back doing this regular, maybe got some other ideas and plans in the pipeline. Well,